Alright guys, this is the video on how to do Mesa 4 for the Guild Ares Wrath. Let's get right into it. If you're creating a Mesa 4, create. Now, tanks should always be in one of these two spots depending on your setup. Most people go for the lower setup. You only need one tank. You do not need two people in the middle, and if there's two people in the middle, we won't start the Mesa. So only one person there. The other three people can be down here. Now, interesting trick, if you click on somebody, you can see what their power is. And you want your weakest member to be in the middle with your two stronger members on the outside. And that's because those two outside spots have a small chance of luring more enemies from further around in, and we want as many people to survive as possible. So one tank in the middle, three down the sides. Now, what about your team? So this team here right now is set up for tanking. If you're going to be tanking, you should have an orc. You should have an orc in that spot there, or even a paladin would work. My paladin's pretty weak, so I would never use him, but I have a really strong orc, and if I have him sitting there, I'm going to expect to be tanking. Every team should have Cupid and Pumpkin Duke. If you don't have a Cupid and Pumpkin Duke, you're definitely going to slow the Mesa down. 4 Pumpkin Dukes are really the strongest thing in Mesa 4. And outside of that, you want heroes with high attack speeds. A lot of people say use your strongest heroes that do lots of damage, but with 4 Pumpkin Dukes and some Cupids in there as well, your damage is maxed at 35,000. You're not going to do more than that. So it doesn't matter whether I have my strong Ares in there or I have a weak Druid in there. The damage is still going to be maxed at 35,000. After that, you're looking at a per hit. Spirit Mage is really nice because he doesn't have a cooldown, and he'll hit everybody on the map, all the bosses, once everything is clear. And again, his damage is capped at 35k, so doing 35,000 to lots of enemies on the map consistently, buffed with 4 Pumpkin Dukes. Spirit Mage is really nice to have in there. And then I personally like to use a debuffer to slow down the attack speed of the boss so that we don't get stunned as often. Debuffers do include Maltanica. Santa Boom is also a good debuffer. And then I don't use them in Mesa because mine aren't strong enough. However, where is she? Frostwitch, Green Champion. If you have a strong one, like level 140 plus with inscriptions, she can actually be a really good debuffer as well. She has no cooldown and really slows down the attack speed of the enemy. Please don't use one unless you know what you're doing. Some people also like to use Snowzilla. I find that Ninja is really squishy, so he doesn't. Chances are he can die quicker than some others. Reaper is really good. He steals health, so he has got some good survivability and fast attack speed, with which that 35,000 damage cap. What you don't want is slow attack speed heroes. Unless you have a really, really strong Mino or you've got Zerk on him, I wouldn't use Mino. His attack speed is just really slow. Maltanica's attack speed and Santa Boom's attack speed are slow as well. However, again, I'm using Maltanica as a debuffer so he gets stun less. Ares can be good as well because he damages everybody around. He does have a cooldown on his skill. So does Maltanica, so does Santa Boom. But Santa Boom, at least when he procs, every single one of his little shrapnel shards does 35,000. So you actually see a lot of damage being done really quickly. Anyways, that is my setup for Mesa 4 if I'm going to be tanking. If you're not tanking and you're going to be down in one of those bottom corners, you want to be trying to put your heroes as close together to the sides. So if you're on the top right, you want to kind of have your champions like this for this spot here. Notice how they're all down at the bottom towards this middle spot. If I was on that spot here, I want to have my champions in that area. So I'd be there, there, and there, down towards the bottom. So that if I'm standing here, all my champions are on the bottom towards that spot. Anyways, that's it for how to make your Mesa team and what we kind of expect for people from Mesa. Again, if you're creating one and joining, click on the sides here, look at who's weakest and let them into the middle. It doesn't necessarily have to be the strongest player who's tanking. The person tanking just needs to really see. I do not have a tank set up because my Cupid and my Pumpkin Duke would go down, and my Orc might tank. My Multanica could take aggro from over here, and this setup is horrible for tanking. So I won't do that. Anyways, that is Mesa 4 for Ares Wrath and how we expect it to be done.